You will pay for killing Galak.
The Federation doesn't use currency.
What?
Wait, what? Oh, sweet Sirach, what the hell is that? Shit, missed. Stay still, you little...
What was that thing?
Not long ago, we re-encountered the parasitic lifeforms that had once attempted to usurp the Federation in 2364, as seen in the episode Conspiracy. They were thwarted then, but their origin was never uncovered. Looks like they may have come from the Delta Quadrant. And now, as the war against the Vaadwaur escalates, it looks like they may be at play again within the ranks of another mighty power. This discovery was witnessed by one other, Eldex, a Vaadwaur captain who stayed behind to uncover more of this corruption in his commanders. Now he has discreetly reached out to Starfleet intelligence and sent word for us to rendezvous.
We've received a coded message from your Vaadwaur friend, Commander Eldex. It seems he's finally ready to help us. He wants to meet, and has asked for you by name. He said he wouldn't deal with anyone else. I'm still skeptical, however. This wouldn't be the first time the Vaadwaur have tried to set a trap for us, so be careful. I've spoken to Admiral Tuvok, and he suggested that 7 of 9 could join you as a technical expert. I see no reason why she shouldn't, and if things go wrong, it will be good to have an ally you can trust. Eldex sent us coordinates for location in the Molyneux system. It's not Vaadwaur space, but there is a Hirogen relay in the area. Watch out for unwanted guests.
We set a course to meet in the Molyneux system, an inhabited solar system with a pre-warp civilization. However, it seems that the extensive hierarchy, Benthan and Hirogen forces are all operating in this area. After all, those in the Delta Quadrant are beholden to no such prime directive, especially when there is a large dilithium deposit on one of the planets. Of course, it could all be a trap. Eldex might have been found out or changed his mind, and we may face a repeat of our previous meetings with Gaul, the leader of the Vaadwaur, who used negotiations with us in the past to create a false reason to start a war, and then spun the narrative that the Alliance slapped away his offered hand. Fortunately, his subsequent actions have done little to garner him much in the way of allies who believe him, but it's only his men he has to convince to continue this campaign of supremacy. Bathed in the system's green hues, we have the 2 Vaadwaur ships and the USS Voyager awaiting us. Eldex's vessel is a large artillery ship, and the other is a small scout, very fast and manoeuvrable.
Greetings. Admiral Tuvok has requested I assist you for the duration of this mission. Admiral Tuvok understands this may upset Eldex, so I shall be the only one who aids you. Voyager will maintain its distance. I am ready for transport.
She beams over while we open communications with Eldex.
Let's go over the point of this operation. Gaul has called all available supremacy leaders to Cartella. I do not know how many of my people are infected with those creatures we saw there, but I'm sure there is more than one. We need to expose them for the abominations they are.
So far so good. You want to expose them to the rest of your forces rather than tackle them in private and risk being foiled. You could broadcast the deception. I recall the Klingons doing something similar in 2403 to reveal species 8472 within the Gorn. Would the giant communications array behind you have something to do with this?
The Supremacy is keeping a tight control on all subspace transmissions. We'll need control of the array to broadcast what we find on Cartella to not only my people, but the entire quadrant. To control the array, we need to control one of the Hirogen ships. Make sure to leave the one I have marked reasonably intact.
We're going to need to take over a Hirogen vessel. That's pretty drastic in my opinion, but I guess they won't just let us use their network for fun. There's probably a reason that we've not been able to use it thus far in our time here, and from Voyager's records, they were rather protective of their arrays. I'm guessing as Voyager is here, then the Admiralty has already sanctioned this attack. Fine, we'll procure a Hirogen ship.
Intruding Vaadwaur ships! You have trespassed in Hirogen space!
We have 3 options to reply with here, and I checked them all. Ask nicely, intimidate or trade, but they all result in the same response, followed by an immediate attack.
This is our space, and this is our array. No trades, no compromises, no mercy.
Well, the small Hirogen wing of hunters, 2 escorts and a larger ship, launch into their attacks. And though the Hirogen may be powerful shock troops with some of the most advanced weaponry and armour encountered by the Federation, their ship-to-ship combat could use some work. Fortunately, Eldex isn't idle either, and his escorts join the fray. We strafe the large Hirogen ship and make a sharp bank around the array, hoping that the Hirogen will not target the structure before realigning our 4 cannons to fire on the hunters. Their vessel springs a leak and goes inert. In reality, the array itself is actually untargetable anyway, but it made for a cool shot. We close in on our wounded prey while Eldex chimes in with our next play. That rhymes.
We need to board the Hirogen ship and take the communications console on the bridge. I can use that to take control of the array.
I'm sorry, we're taking a console from a ship's bridge.
I have extensive experience with these systems. I will beam down to aid in the operation of the Hirogen ship. Are you ready to proceed?
We need the communications console intact. Whatever else happens is of no concern to me.
We're actually going to... Okay, if you know how to snatch a console, let's hope the crew will oblige us.
We must first disconnect the console from the ship's data network.
Upon opening the door, we are presented with a Hirogen unhelmed and trying to make repairs. I would not like to fire on him, but something tells me they won't respect that wish. He is quickly dispatched, but the noise alerts some nearby crew who arrive to repel the boarders. One Hirogen enters and is rather stunned by the sight of a Starfleet Captain, a former drone, and a potato in a spacesuit ransacking his bridge. Don't worry, I'll show him the door. Ooh, bad landing. We set about decoupling the communications console as 7 instructs.
We also need the isolinear storage assembly. It will be behind a locked door on the bridge.
Also behind this locked door is another very surprised looking Hirogen, who I throw a grenade to and then shut the door on. When all is said and done, we have successfully decoupled the console from the bridge and can affix it with a transporter tag.
Transporter standing by. Transport complete.
We have the console. There is no way the Vaadwaur will allow a Starfleet vessel into our space, and Cartella defenses have been upgraded since your last trip with the holo projector. Take one of the ships in my fleet. Send yours away. You can contact it once we've completed our mission. I will beam over some of your crew to assist you when we get to our destination.
Before we beam out, we can take a look at some of the Hirogen trophies on display. They've got a surprising amount of Alpha Quadrant weaponry, mostly Klingon, but I do notice an Andorian Ushantor ice pick, a Nausicaan Tegalar, and a Sunkatsi falchion, and a bronze blade that looks suspiciously like the sword of the Raptor Star, but that last one would be impossible.
We'll scuttle the Hirogen ship so they won't know the console is missing. Then we can continue on to Cartella for the meeting. I have loaned some officers to attend to the duty stations on the frigate you now command.
We have arrived aboard one of Eldex's ships, and I'm surprised at the number of followers he's gathered. Perhaps he's been able to find some evidence and turn a few heads. And for what I've seen of that Hirogen vessel though, they've been hunting primarily Klingon and Starfleet ships, so I'm not going to feel bad about this. Sink it.
I'm picking up an incoming Benthan vessel on long-range sensors. Our ships are out of range, and we are in a Vaadwaur vessel. It is unlikely the Benthans will give us a chance to explain the situation.
Think we can intimidate them into leaving?
They are not altering course. Disabling their vessel may be the only option.
This is a clandestine operation, audio only.
Attention, Vaadwaur vessels. You are in violation of several codes of conduct in this area of space, and your ships have been identified as perpetrators of crimes against the Benthan Guard and its protectorates. Stand down and prepare to be boarded.
Well, this is awkward. The Benthans were among the first allies of the Delta Alliance, and now they're opening fire on us.
They cannot escape this system.
There is no need to destroy that ship.
We launch a single salvo, then aim to disable the Benthan vessel. And with Eldex's ship on our side, it's a quick fight. Oh, I wish that Benthan commander had just left us alone.
I will not let the plan be ruined.
I've jammed the Benthan ship's communications so they can't signal for help. You know what needs to be done. No one can know what happened here.
Unacceptable. The Benthans are performing their assigned duties and have no way of knowing who or what we are. Sensors are detecting damage to the ship's long-range communications array. It will be days before they can restore warp power or send out a signal. We can leave now, complete our mission, and then return later to assist the Benthans.
Exactly. They're adrift and time is precious. Let's move on.
That's not a risk I'm willing to take. They're in range of the Hirogen array. They could tap it to send out a call for help, or disable our modifications. The Hirogen could return and discover what happened. And if another Vaadwaur fleet finds them, there will be questions none of us want to answer. The Benthans must be silenced.
We can agree or disagree with Commander Eldex here, but I'm not going to destroy an allied vessel.
We can put him in our brig or tow his ship away to buy ourselves more time. There is no need for more bloodshed.
While me and Seven discuss the options of perhaps bringing the Benthans on board, Eldex takes matters into his own hands.
They did not need to die.
I trust you won't be so squeamish in the future. There is more riding on this plan than the lives of a handful of so-called peacekeepers.
I'm going to have a hard time overlooking this one.
The Borg place very little value on the life of one individual. Captain Janeway and the crew of Voyager showed me that that belief was incorrect. Given all they've been through, I had hoped Commander Eldex would place more value on the lives of others. It appears that his concern only extends to other Vaadwaur. Watch him carefully. Eldex cannot be trusted.
Silhouetted against the backdrop of this accursed system, Eldex's ship is an imposing sight, and suddenly I'm acutely aware that we are surrounded on an unfamiliar ship with a crew loyal to another captain, a different side in a war. And while this is about overthrowing the Vaadwaur for us, for them, it's about restoring their true authority and wresting it from the hands of those who have deceived them. It was naive of me to expect the same view of life from the Vaadwaur, even if our goals are aligned for the moment. Then again, it also shows Eldex's desperation. He truly believes that his people are in great danger, and we can trust him to at least hold true to any action that exposes the parasites within their ranks. We warp to the Cartella system, the Vaadwaur stronghold we've been to once before.
Gaul has increased security since your last visit. Let me do the talking.
We trail behind Eldex as we move into the system. Last time we were here, we snuck in under an illegal holographic cloak.
Verification code 109947.
Verification accepted. Due to heightened security, all ships are required to reduce speed below full impulse for security scans.
Understood, maintaining low impulse.
One hurdle cleared. Continue to the manned security checkpoint.
Unlike last time, there are far more ships here. Several dozen just at this checkpoint at least, and who knows how many others in other orbits around this ringed planet. Many of the vessels are actively scanning passers-by.
Disengage your engines and provide the proper security codes.
Yes, security codes. So, about that, you see, last time I was here, I just met this lovely attendant and we got along so well. Is there any chance you could talk to her?
My predecessor was more lax in her handling of security measures. She has paid the price for her errors in judgment. What is your security code?
Semper Dolblathana.
Verification code Alpha 4742. Commander Eldex and Squadron reporting.
What he said.
Do not make me late for the meeting.
Sorry, boss, I forgot the code.
Code accepted, Commander Eldex. Take your squadron to the marked position on the outer orbit ring.
Good day.
Ignore the scans. Fly like you belong here.
You heard him. Fly casual. Security isn't just tight here. I'm being scanned by every other ship.
Good thing you didn't try to use a hologram again, isn't it?
Yep, clearly. And is it just me, or are the number of ships actually increasing the closer to the planet that we get?
There's 67 ships in this system. That is more than expected.
And if even one of them opens fire on us, we're done for. This is not a sturdy ship.
Gaul's planning something big. This must be the start. More ships, or just more reasons not to get caught?
Look, I get that, but your methods do leave something to be desired. The Benthans, for example, they're our allies.
I am after one goal: the liberation of my people from these monsters. I will do anything to achieve that, including betraying Gaul to save us all.
Looks like we're approaching the last of the checkpoints.
It is time for someone with a stronger resolve to take up the cause that Gaul has abandoned.
Does this mean that the Vaadwaur will continue their aggressive expansion even if we remove Gaul? Well, it's a step in the right direction, and we can't leave those neural parasites to run amok. After the harrowing journey past oh so many cannons pointed at us, we stop in high orbit of Cartilla Prime.
There are more ships in system than I had anticipated. But we can't stop now. Leaving would only make us look suspicious. I'm transmitting coordinates for a secure room near the meeting site. Beam down there. I will have a holographic disguise ready for you. Security is scanning for such tricks on ships, but I'm not sure they realize how many uses there are for holo emitters. Here, use these holo projectors. Security is so focused on keeping intruders out of our space that they won't be looking for trouble on the ground. But try not to act suspicious. Our soldiers aren't as dumb as you seem to think they are. You'll need to place these emitters around the leaders, which when activated will emit a low-level delta radiation pulse that should disrupt their isoboramine neurotransmitters, forcing their parasites out for a short period. You'll also need to place recording devices, so everything that happens is transmitted to the quadrant. I'll stay here with the transmitter and monitor your progress. This is more than a simple briefing. Gaul might even be here in person, so don't get caught. We're all dead if you do.
We've done this several times before. Don't worry, we're quite good at espionage. Our spies aren't as dumb as you seem to think they are. We retrieve the holo emitters from the beamed-in cache, and are immediately shrouded in Vaadwaur guise, although I think it's funny that Seven's implants are still visible. Was that choice, or by some Borg quirk of technology? We set off into the complex to see this meeting for ourselves, and we are completely at the mercy of Eldex's plan here. If he's lying, then he's just delivered us to Gaul, and if he's wrong about there being no holo detection on the planet's surface, well, we're dead. Most of the Vaadwaur standing around are waiting for the address and sharing opinions about the other species they've encountered. They've got little regard for the Talaxians, thinking that every vessel they destroy or raid is in repayment for this imagined slight that they've suffered from the initial peace talks held by the Federation on the Talaxian colony by Neelix. As we place the delta radiation pulse emitters around the hall, we overhear more snippets of conversation. Some are unimpressed by the Klingons, seeing their reputation as warriors as unearned. Others are concerned about the hierarchy's growing involvement in galactic affairs, and others still say that the Maelon can just be safely ignored. After the emitters are primed, we place the recording devices, which contain an uplink straight to Eldex's ship and into the Hirogen comm network.
You'll need to set up a signal booster so we can transmit our signal through the base's electronic security. There's a power console near to where the leadership is addressing the troops. Tie the repeater into the conduits there.
This is found to the far side of the hall, hidden from sight.
Hey! What are you doing? No one is allowed back in.
If we're finished here, I suggest we return to the crowd.
Right, the stage is set, the props in play, now we just need to wait for the main actors. I'm in position.
Now hear the words of our great leader, Gaul!
Sir!
What do you want?
Someone found the guard. Quick, activate the device.
What? What's happening?
They're monsters! Go! You did this! Traitor! Liar! What are you? Monster! Sleevo! Beast! Inlet!
Enough! Why are you letting your eyes deceive you? This is a plot by our enemies. They're trying to divide us. I say no.
We will stand strong, united. We are Vaadwaur, and we will conquer our enemies.
That's right. This is insane. I'll stand with you. No, Gaul's a betrayer.
I see some of you are still loyal to our cause. The rest, you are cowards and traitors unworthy to be called Vaadwaur. Kill them.
I think our time here is done. We should make our way to the extraction point.
Did we just start a civil war? That did not go as planned. We missed Gaul, but I guess we can work with this. If we can survive this encounter, let's get out of here. We managed to sprint through much of the firefight without being drawn into combat with the feuding Vaadwaur, but we encounter a security squad by the exit, and it doesn't much matter whose side they're on. They're not likely to allow anyone to escape, so we've got to go through them.
Get out! Get out now!
Yeah, I don't need telling twice. We're clear of the field. Let's beam out.
I need to rally my people, the ones who aren't infected and who are willing to fight. The parasites will crush them if someone doesn't act. My allies are holding one of the space docks in the outer perimeter. Help me get there. I'll start coordinating the fight from there, and you'll be able to return to your ship.
Okay, might I suggest we try not to engage any other ships just yet? It is chaos in orbit. There are large Vaadwaur artillery ships firing barrages at one another, those shaken by what they've seen, and those spurned on by Gaul's inciting notions of betrayal and treachery. Smaller vessels too strafe past us, pursuing their quarry, and it's all a blur of combat, as vessels all bearing the same markings fire upon each other. What have we become here? Eldex and our scout ships make a break for the allied space dock, dodging the fire of the Vaadwaur skirmish.
We need to confirm the transmission made it to the array. Incoming hostiles. Handle them!
While Eldex attempts to make sure that word got out to the rest of the Vaadwaur spread across the Delta Quadrant, we hold off the scout ships that have decided that we're not to be trusted. Again, there's no telling whose side they follow, Gaul's regime or the freshly disillusioned, but right now, they're not Team Us.
The transmission signal is strong, and it's reaching the Hirogen communications array. Now all Vaadwaur will know about the corruption among us. You should go. I need to prepare my people for the fight ahead.
Look, Eldex, good luck. With that, he turns his ship back into the fray, while we set a course out of the system. But before we can warp out, however, we'll need to clear the combat zone. Taking a minute to steel ourselves and divert as much power as we can to shields and engines, we make a break for it. Leaving the chaos in our wake, we check to see we're not being pursued. Hopefully Eldex can restore some semblance of order to all of this.
I am in contact with Voyager, and it is waiting with your vessel outside this system. We need to depart immediately.
Set course. Once we're aboard our vessel, we'll turn this ship back over to Eldex's men. So, after a successful return to our vessels and the departure of Eldex's loaned ship, we're left to contemplate events. Commander Burgess confirms that the broadcast went out and that everyone in the Delta Quadrant saw it. News is circulating about the strange insects within the Vaadwaur, with some even claiming to be responsible for it. I guess anyone is claiming notoriety to suggest that they're the ones that managed to harm the Vaadwaur. The intelligence officer laments though that Gaul got away, and he's not the only one. Such a villain, even if he is under the control of a parasite, needs to be stopped, and even with this revelation to his followers, he still wields enough fanatical power to sway half his forces into blaming the doubters in his own circle. I almost resent him for not just standing down. He couldn't just go quietly, could he? Even with this defeat, he's scorching the earth. I don't think he knows anything other than how to fight anymore. Still, while the Vaadwaur are in disarray, we can make a decisive strike, and that time is closing fast. So I hope you'll be there for the next part, as we tie up some loose ends, then make a move to depose Gaul once and for all, and try to bring an end to this conflict. And even if the skirmishes continue, then at least the Vaadwaur will be the ones in control of their own fate. I'll see you next time as we continue to explore the ever-expanding narrative of Star Trek Online, and until the next video, thanks again for watching. Goodbye.